I understand very disturbing images from the Tema Motorway. Some accident has happened. Viewer discretion is advised at this point. But we want you to take a look at it. When we return, we'll have a conversation regarding what's on our roads. We're learning that the numbers are going up again. What's causing it? We'll tell you some more after this. Well, we'll get that video for you shortly. But Della, I've been worried about the fact that year on year, we get statistics showing that, in the first quarter or so number of people died from road carnage. And we announce it as if, one life lost, two lives lost. Yeah. This year cries only 5,000 or 2,000 that have died. We announce it like that and it goes
figures,
away.
And not as people.
Yes. Yeah, but those are real lives. Those are people. Those are breadwinners. Those are dependents. Those are people who do all manner of things from different quarters. I would want to see, of course, accidents will always happen, but I would want to see a day where we are close to zero in terms of the number of lives that are lost on our roads, the accidents that happen. And a myriad of things come to play for me. Number one, a phenomenon that nobody wants to talk about is the fact that transport owners put a lot of pressure on those who drive their vehicles to do what they call sales. So for every single day or for a week, you have to come and account for some amount of money. Now, these guys are factoring in traffic, fuel prices, spare parts, all of that, which is on them. They just bring the sales to the car owners. Sometimes they partner and help them. But then, if, for example, I have to make a sale of X amount of money, and I know that I cannot achieve that if I don't do 7 or 10 trips a day, I will do whatever I can by hook or crook, even when I'm tired, to make up that amount of money.
Right.
So you find drivers sometimes sleeping behind their steering wheel. Sometimes they are so tired. Sometimes they go and take a little alcohol to get that courage to be able to drive. You get to the station, you find an 85, 90 kg man lying on a small bench and they call it rest. Yeah. And a myriad of them. So we keep looking at the statistics and announcing them. Yeah. Then we have a few MTTD officers on the roads. And then we have my own man, Chief Superintendent Obeng, go around and talk to all of us and advise us. But I believe that there's more that we can do as a people.
I mean, as we speak, some were deployed onto the Winneba Road following the recent accidents that was recorded there 2 weeks ago. Statistics for Friday and Saturday stood at 19 people in an accident in 2 different locations. But Johnny, you spoke about the fact that transport owners have a role to play. I'm also looking at the fact that drivers also have a role to play in this, whether it's for you doing this for a transport owner or you own the vehicle yourself. Yesterday, I was on the road, and coming to Accra, it was raining from my location towards Accra. The speed on the road was terrible. Drivers were overtaken, commercial, private.
Even when the road was slippery.
Even when the road was slippery. And it was foggy at a point in time. And guess what? Just before, I've seen that people like to take a lot of do a lot of overtaking in sharp curves. Like when the road
it doesn't make sense.
I just cannot fathom that.
Doesn't make sense.
So I see them trying to do an overtaking right in a curve, and then here's a car coming on with this highlight, not even a hazard highlight.
It blinds you naturally, so you have to also turn it on.
It just took a split second for the driver ahead to save his own life. Else he would have run into a truck that has now broken down, and it's just at the curve.
Lord have mercy.
It's just at the curve. And I was asking myself, I mean, when you're driving during the day, you also need to put in place, you also have to think about the weather that you're driving in. If it's a sunny day, you want to do overtaking and all those things. I mean, there are rules
to doing overtaking.
But when it is raining and the road is slippery and you're not even sure how your brake is going to react to an immediate stop. Why speed?
Why speed? And you see, you mentioned, for example, that that's a truck that was broken down on the road. And you see many of those in town.
And they don't have
now
triangles.
For me, and that's the sad part. Sometimes you go and break a branch, okay, and then savagely come and put it there, a gallon. And I find it ridiculous because those are death traps. And I remember Kofi Otredako, my very good friend and big brother, he drove into one of those. Kofi Otredako, he drove into one of those. And he nearly lost his life. A stationary truck, he drove into it. And many people drive into it like that because sometimes, for some strange reason, from afar, you are unable to tell that the truck has broken down. Sometimes on a major road like the N1, on a major road like the Legon Road, on a major roads, you find them broken down trucks. And they are right in the heart of the road. And you're asking yourself, why we do this to ourselves? Why do we allow it? I mean, people should be surcharged. People should be surcharged. Police moves in, you surcharge them and take the car off and let them pay.
I mean, I always say that when you're driving in Ghana, you have to think about 4 people on the road. You're thinking of yourself, you're thinking of the bus on your left, on the right. You're now thinking of these tricycles that are gradually becoming a burden to road users.
Well,
because
in 2 days, Regional Minister for Accra, Henry Quarty, says in 2 days we'll have them off the roads.
You know what, Johnny, because I saw that on the motorway as well, where they are always, yes, they're on the outer lane, but there's a queue, there's a long, you know, I don't know if it's a convoy of tricycles, but I think they just wanted to get to where the refuse, you know, the dump is and just offload the refuse that they have. So that's them, a lot of them. And they're driving at their own pace. I mean, these tricycle drivers, sometimes when you bypass them, you want to give them a signal, you have to just
They are carrying garbage. They have nowhere to hurry to.
They are not even in a hurry to go.
Yeah, they're carrying baller. That's the whole point. I mean, they're carrying baller. Where are they running to? Where are they rushing to?
And you know the phenomenon on the motorway, everybody wants to, you know, be on a certain speed limit and just... And it was just...
Let's go to the motorway. I told you about an accident that's happened this morning. Take a look at the video, and we'll talk about the motorway briefly. Potholes, we're now patching, what do you call it, concrete with asphalt. Oh, Ghana. Take a look at it.
On the motorway, what really happened?
Yes, actually, we were off the road and we heard the noise from the car, the back tire blast. So before we realized, the whole car almost out. The top of the car is now down. So now, when that got one of the ladies, when they were trying to she fell off. She collapsed in the rush into the material. That's exactly what happened. But we thank God that no one loses his or her life.
So were the police informed?
Okay, actually, at the moment now, there's a police officer on the scene.
Okay.
So I'm sure you are.
Okay.
So I like the emergency response. I saw the police there, and that for me is a good sign. Yeah. I would want to know how, for example, along the motorway, you know, we were also told that we would have an emergency response center there, some ambulance and all of that. I didn't see an ambulance there. I don't know if, this is an amateur video, by the way. Yeah. I do not know if an ambulance was on hand, how the victims were conveyed to the hospital. Because I've been on the motorway with Alfred before. There was an accident. We were going to do an OB at Pram Pram. There was an accident. We had to stop and assist. But then no ambulance was coming. So eventually they had to find another trotro and pack the people who were hurt into it. And I've always maintained that the way people are conveyed to the hospital from accident points is the reason they die, not because the cars killed them. Most people, the way they are conveyed, because sometimes a car knocks somebody, they are on the ground, they are stationary, they have a broken limb or whatever it is, then they are lifted up. I mean, there's a way to, the emergency response guys will tell you, there's a way to handle people. So by the time they get to the hospital, they may have blocked their passage of oxygen or something, and then they would lose their lives. But what happened there, if you listen to the narration of the guy, he got a burst tire. and perhaps lost control. The vehicle somersaulted, and that's what we are getting there. Basic, we're told that once you burst your tire, you don't apply the brakes. Once you burst your tire, you don't apply the brakes. You take your time, hold steady, and maneuver. The car slows down, and you can go to safety. So I don't get it where people are told this, or maybe not. And you get a burst tire, and then the first thing you want to do is to apply the brake.
Right.
I don't get it. Because if you're speeding, it's common sense that once you apply the brake, the car will flip.
It will definitely flip.
It will flip. The car will flip.
And you spoke about statistics earlier. Let me just share a few with our viewers there. We have
quickly statistics.
1,250 people lost their lives through road carnage. So far, the first half of 2021, we are seeing near to 1,450 people lose their lives on this. And
sad.
It's very sad. It's
sad.
very pathetic.
Be careful out there, guys. If you're driving, be careful. Like they tell you in driving school, consider everybody else as a mad person on the road. You are the only sane person on the road. Be careful out there. There are no road markings in some places, no street lights at night in some places. Be careful. Your life is in your hands, and your family depends on you.